right. Good morning, everybody. Well, I guess it might not be morning where you are. Maybe it's afternoon or evening. I just say morning because it's morning where I am today. So this is going to air the Christmas week. I was going to say Christmas Eve, but it's not Christmas Eve. It is Christmas week. So I have this podcast and one more left of the year. I am so excited about bringing this podcast to fruition for 2020 and really digging in deep and uncovering a lot of stuff about myself and about what I'm doing and being able to talk with all of you about it. For a long time, I was very, very scared of vulnerability. Vulnerability to me did not feel good. It felt like weakness. And the interesting thing is I've heard Brene Brown talk about this is where, she'll ask a room of people, when you're vulnerable, who here, when you're vulnerable, does it feel like weakness? And like the whole crowd raises their hand. And then she goes, when you see somebody else being vulnerable, what does it look like? Does it look like strength to you when they're being vulnerable? And everybody raised their hand. So it's just very interesting how all of us can perceive vulnerability in ourselves as weakness, but we perceive vulnerability in other people as strength. So I've had to learn to really connect with myself, to really be able to dig deep and get vulnerable, because really being vulnerable is the only thing that is going to portray what I have to say to everybody. This is our cat, Mocha, if you're watching this video. Here's Mocha. He is a lover and a killer. He's one of the best mousers around, and he is a super lovey cat. So he just jumped up with me. Anyways, vulnerability. So I have had to really work on it. It was a struggle to me. I couldn't be vulnerable with myself. I couldn't be vulnerable with other people. Being vulnerable with a partner was really hard because when you love somebody and you feel like it's something you can lose, then you don't want to show them the ick. You don't want to show them like what's inside of you that's not pretty, that's hard, that hurts. But really getting comfortable with myself and finding the vulnerability inside of myself has helped me and my husband, Jeremy, grow closer and closer together. So this podcast has been a lot of fun to me to be able to be vulnerable and hope that I can share my story and what I'm going through and what I'm doing in life with everybody else to maybe inspire you and to push you and to connect with you and just to have an impact on your life in a positive way. Okay, so as we close 2020, raise your hand if you are excited to see 2020 go. I know most people are, and I get it. 2020 started off super exciting for everybody. I think it was a new decade. Everybody was so excited about this new decade we were getting into and what that meant for us. And while we didn't know what it meant, it really didn't mean anything different. We were just excited. It's something to be excited about. And then the middle of March hit. And then we weren't excited anymore. And there was a lot of depression and a lot of hard stuff happened and a lot of isolation and a lot of fear and a lot of hate. And, so many things have happened in 2020, but 2020 has also been a really good time to connect with ourselves, to sit in silence, to reflect on who we are and who we want to be in life. It's been a time to be able to connect with the people in your family, the people you live with, your children, your spouse. It's been a really good time to maybe connect with people you work with. Maybe you have to be home now, so it's a little harder. But if you're in your office, then you all are going through something very similar together. So 2020 has really been a year of connection for me. And, honestly, the beginning part of 2020 for my office, I'll speak with my office specifically right now, it was really hard. My office struggled. People were scared. People were scared to come out. People were scared to, be in public, to go to the grocery stores. I still had people coming to my office, but not near as many. But this last half of 2020, we've been killing it, man. I feel like part of what I've done is just showed up. I've showed up in my office every day, every single day, Every day in March, April, May, June, when people were at their most scared, I showed up. And even if I only had a few people come see me, I was there. And I think that's part of what's really helps me grow so much in my office and just as a person this last half of 2020 is that I'm showing up every single day. And yes, sometimes I'm scared and sometimes I'm frustrated, and sometimes I have a little bit of fear, but really, I am a big believer in just, living your truth and showing up how you can. And that's what I've been doing. And I think it's been really helpful in my office. So while, yes, I am excited to get to a new year, if you would have asked me in, March, February, April, those months, I would have been like, let's go, let's get 2020 over with. I am done. I'm already done. And we're only a few months into this. But now, after having a pretty decent end of the year, it's not so urgent to be done with 2020. And I know not everybody's where I am, and that's okay. Some people are very excited to get it over with and to move on and see if there's something new for us in a new year. And I really hope and pray that, for most people's sake, there is something new for us in the new year. Something good always comes out of dark times and hard times. So just keep your eyes open for the good because it's there. Just look for it. It's always there. So as I close out one year and go into another year, I always make a vision board. And with my vision board, I always have a word of the year. And, usually it's just one word. This year was courageous. And honestly, the funny thing is I picked courageous for my 2020 word of the year because I felt like inside I wasn't very courageous. I felt like I was lost and scared and kind of lonely. And I wasn't quite sure where I was going or what I wanted to do. And so courageous, because I wanted to show up courageously. I wanted to be courageous for my family, for myself, for my office, for my patients, for the people who work with me. I wanted to be courageous. I wanted to speak my truth. I wanted to be vulnerable. I wanted to be this person that, women especially could look up to and come to for help. And so courageous was my word. And I had an associate, Deanna Allegar. If you're listening to this, I miss you and I love you, Deanna. Her and her partner, Spindy, moved to Colorado and opened up their own practice this year. So imagine how hard that's been. It's been hard for me. Imagine how hard it's been for a new doc. Anyways, she told me she was really surprised that courageous was my word because that's how she already saw me. And isn't that interesting? We don't see ourselves how others see us. And it's interesting to find out that somebody already sees you as what you want to be. So I want to be more courageous. I wanted to be more courageous, but Deanna already saw me as that. And I couldn't see myself as that. Courageous was my 2020 word of the year. And honestly, I think I have lived up to that word. I've had to be very courageous. I've had, stuff knock me down in my office. Most if any of you don't know, I did a video for my office, and put it on my office Facebook page. So it was really for my patients in my office, right when, the COVID hit in the United States. And it was about a video, about being courageous really, and not being fearful and coming to me if they have questions and, talking to me and there's things you can do for your health and blah, blah, blah. Well, a medical doctor did not like that. So he went to the newspaper. So the newspaper took that and another post. It was a post about the 1918 Spanish flu and people who saw chiropractors versus people who did not. And that's actually real research. I mean, it's research that's out there. So our local paper, if you're not local, our local paper did a not so great article about me because, I'm big news. And that was hard. That was the only day. The day after that, because we started getting some phone calls to my office that were not threatening, but not like, oh, that sucks. Why would they do that? Just people calling the office kind of being dicks. And I took one day off. I took a Thursday off at the end of that week when that newspaper article came out. But other than that, I've been in my office every single day. So that really knocked me down. The newspaper ran that article. I started getting not so nice messages on social media, a lot of them from chiropractors, which is really sad, directed at me. The Board of Healing Arts, the Kansas Board of Healing Arts, did an investigation into this, which I still haven't heard the results of. So there's an investigation open. And then a couple months later, somebody reported me to the board again. I'm going to have to venture a guess that maybe it was the same medical doctor. I don't really know. So I think maybe it makes sense that it was, because I didn't refer to myself as a chiropractor when I said Dr. Amelia one time. One time on my Facebook page says for my office, I put something up about a detox with the docs, and I didn't specify that I was a chiropractor, but it was only on my Rod Rock Lawrence Facebook page. So you would have known I was a chiropractor. But this person sent it to the board. So now there are actually 2 investigations into me with the Board of Healing Arts that I haven't heard anything about. So both of those, really, knocked me down. I had some family stuff that has been a little bit difficult, always kid stuff. My son got in a car accident. I learned my daughter was dating, and I don't know. I know she's 19, but I don't know, just kind of threw me for a loop when I found all that out. So there's been a lot of stuff, So I've had to be courageous. I've had to step into my courage, and I've had to face it head on and not hide and not stay in bed. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Sometimes you have to stay in bed. Sometimes you have to take care of yourself. But for me, taking care of myself was showing up every single day the way I needed to show up. So what is my word? Cat, goodness gracious, go on. What is my word for 2021 going to be? I'm not 100% sure yet. I don't know if it'll be one word, but a couple mornings when I was laying in bed, when you first wake up, so you're still kind of asleep, but you're kind of awake, you're kind of in that in-between state, something popped into my head. And I'm sure I heard this somewhere. Maybe there's a book called this. Maybe it was in a podcast. So, I apologize if I say these 3 words and you're like, oh yeah, that's blah, blah, blah. Because maybe I heard it, but in my half dream state, the words health, wealth, and happiness came to my mind. Health, wealth, and happiness. And I really like those 3. I like those 3 together. They just sound nice together. Health, wealth, happiness. So I think 2021 is going to be a year of health, wealth, and happiness for me. And, I'm already healthy, but I know I have a lot of work I could do. I'm already wealthy. I'm wealthy in life. I'm wealthy in love. I'm wealthy in, people, coming to my office, and, the joy I get to have, and the joy I get to spread with my podcast and my YouTube channel. But it's time for me to step into wealth in a different way. If you listen to my YouTube, I did a little YouTube video on money the other day. And money for me has always been kind of a taboo word. And so money for me has always been a kind of a taboo word. Growing up, we always had plenty of money. I mean, we never struggled. We didn't want anything. Yes, we did. We didn't need anything. Sorry, we didn't need anything. Like, we had everything provided for us. I had food, I had clothes, I had a house, I had a car when it became car time. I had what I needed. I'm sure I wanted some things, but, I never felt any pressure of being poor when I was growing up. But money was always a point of tension in my house. So my stepdad, my biological dad, if you've listened to some of this, some of my other podcasts, he passed away when I was 30. My mom remarried when I was 5, and my stepdad was raised during the Great Depression. He's older than my mother. So when somebody is raised during the Great Depression, they have a little bit different view of money, I think. And so he was one who never had a car payment. If he wanted a car, he paid cash for it. He saved until he had the money and he paid cash. He was a teacher, but he was also a farmer, and he was really good with his money. And maybe he invested. I don't really know. I don't remember all that stuff. But, we didn't go on trips. We didn't do a lot of things. I mean, we went on some trips, but we didn't do a lot of like family vacations and fun things like that. And so my mom would have credit cards. She would hide them. And she would always like sneak money and sneak things. And Mom, if you're listening to this, I totally get it. I probably would have done the same thing if I was married to a guy like Dad. But Kitty, oh God, get him out of this room. What an annoying cat. He's interrupting the podcast. And so for me, money was always kind of a hush hush thing, like something that we spent quietly. We didn't talk about it. It was a point of tension, point of arguments. We didn't get really what we wanted, but just we got what we needed. So that's how I grew up. And, fast forward to when I was now a mother, I was a single mother. So I didn't have any money. I lived 100% paycheck to paycheck for many, many, many years. I was on public assistance. I was on housing help. I got food stamps, all of that stuff. So money to me was always something that was unattainable. It was always something that was kind of taboo. And I wouldn't say evil is the right word, but, something that was maybe even a little bit evil. So I've had to change my mindset around money, and I've had to change how I feel about it, because if I focus on, in my video, I talked about how does money make you feel? When you think about money, what do you have right here? You can't see me if you're listening to this, so right in your chest. How does it make you feel? What are the feelings? Is it anxiety? Is it worry? Is it anxious? Well, I said anxiety and anxiousness. I think it's the same thing. Is it sadness or is it excitement? Is it like c'est la vie? Money comes, money goes. What is it? For me, it's a lot of anxiety. So I'm starting to reframe that, because anxiety and excitement are the same emotion in your body. It's just how you perceive it in your head. So I'm trying to perceive money as excitement. So this year is going to be the year of wealth. I'm going to save more. I'm going to invest more. I'm in a women's investment club, and that's a lot of fun. I'm going to really try to make myself independent financially, not because I'm going to leave my husband or anything, but just because I want to be financially independent. Because, let's say heaven forbid, something happens to him, I wouldn't know where to start right now, but I want that to change in the year of 2021. I maybe just said 2020, 2021. And happiness. Who doesn't want happiness? And happiness means so much to so many different people. But I just really want to feel true happiness and true joy, which I do. I'm a very happy person, but I want to help spread that to other people. I want to help other women find their happiness. I want to help other women have health, wealth, and happiness. That is my 2021 goal. My 2021 goal is to help women achieve health, wealth, and happiness. There, I said it. Now it's out in the universe. I can't take it back. So how am I going to do that? Well, thank you for asking. So I'm starting a coaching program, and I'm really excited about this. So if you're listening to this now, my first one starts the beginning of January. That might be a little soon for you, but if you're interested in learning more about the coaching program, please reach out. My plan is to start, a new person or new group every single month. So it'll be small group coaching. It'll be women only. If you're a man and you want to learn about this, let me know, because my husband's doing the same thing. But, I really want to help women achieve, well, I already said it, health, wealth, and happiness. That's what I want to do. So it's accountability coaching. So it's a little bit of life coaching, a little bit of business coaching or career coaching, but a lot of accountability coaching. So you have to show up every day. We do work, we do daily check-ins, we do weekly calls, we do month or quarterly target setting. I've talked about targets a little bit. So we do a lot of work. It's intense. It's deep. It's hard. It sucks sometimes. But if you want to truly transform your life, this is exactly what you need. So if you're interested in some coaching or learning more about my coaching, please let me know. You know what? My phone number is 785-218-0010. That's my actual cell phone number. Text me. We'll talk. Email dr like doctor. So dr Amelia, Ameliac as in cat, W as in water. It's actually as in Wilson, because that's my maiden name, at gmail.com. So Dr. Amelia CW at gmail.com. Find me on social media. There will be links in the show notes. We can post my email in the show notes. I'm not going to post my phone number in the show notes. You have to remember it from this. But yeah, just, find me, get a hold of me, reach out to me. Let's make 2021 an amazing year full of health, wealth, and happiness. All right, everybody. You can also join my Transforming Self page on Facebook. That's a good page too. So that's it for today. One more podcast until the end of the year. Who is excited? I am. All right. Well, until next time, be courageous. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed the show. There are many ways to connect with me, and I want to connect with each and every one of you. Facebook seems to be the easiest right now. I have a Facebook page for my podcast, the Transforming Self podcast page, or you can connect with me personally, Amelia Rodrock, on Facebook. I also have an Instagram and a YouTube page. So please reach out. I am here for each and every one of you. I want to help every one of you thrive to your full potential.